Ever wondered, can you park in front of your own house? It's a question that sparked countless neighborhood debates and plenty of confusion. While some argue it's their right as homeowners, others counter that it's a violation of public space. Some even believe it's illegal. The waters are murky, the opinions are diverse, and the misunderstandings are plenty. But there's one authority that can clear up this quandary. Well, the Saudi Traffic Department has something to say about this. The Saudi Traffic Department recently clarified this issue. Let's delve into the specifics of what they had to say. Now, it's important to note that the law doesn't outright prohibit parking in front of your house. In fact, there's no explicit rule that states you can't park your vehicle outside your own residence. But, as with most things, the devil is in the detail. The crux of the issue, according to the Saudi Traffic Department, lies in whether or not your parked vehicle is causing an obstruction. This could mean blocking the traffic flow on the street or inhibiting access to another property. If your parked car becomes a hindrance in any way, that's when it becomes a violation. Think of it this way. The street is a shared space meant for everyone's use. If your car, parked outside your house, starts to restrict that shared use in any way, it's no longer just about you and your property. You're now affecting the community as a whole, and that's when it becomes a problem. This is not just about good neighborliness, but also about public safety. Imagine an ambulance or a fire truck needing quick access to a house and finding the way blocked by a car. That's not just inconvenient, it could be a matter of life and death. The Saudi Traffic Department emphasizes that it's all about balance. Yes, you have a right to park in front of your house, but not at the expense of others' right to a free and clear passage. This is why the law is flexible. It's not about where you can or can't park, but about how your parking affects others. The law recognizes that every situation is unique, and it aims to ensure the best outcome for everyone involved. So parking in front of your house is not as black and white as you might think. It's a delicate balance between private rights and public good, and it's up to us as responsible citizens to strike that balance and create a harmonious community where everyone's rights and needs are respected. It seems simple, but there's a lot of misunderstanding about this issue. This is particularly true when it comes to parking in front of your own house. Let's delve into some of the misconceptions that often lead to disputes among neighbors. Firstly, many people mistakenly believe that they own the parking spot in front of their house. It's easy to see why. After all, it's right there in front of your property. But the truth is, unless you live in a private community with specific rules, most on-street parking spots are considered public property. This means that anyone can park there, even if it's right in front of your house. Another common misunderstanding is that if someone else's car is parked in front of your house for an extended period, you can have it towed. In reality, unless the vehicle is illegally parked, such as blocking a driveway or fire hydrant, or if it's been abandoned, it's not that simple to have it removed. These misconceptions often lead to unnecessary conflicts between neighbors, from heated arguments to passive-aggressive notes left on windshields. It's not a pleasant situation for anyone involved, and often leaves a sour taste in the community atmosphere. However, knowing the law can help alleviate these issues. For instance, understanding that the space in front of your house is not your parking spot can help you manage your expectations and avoid disappointment when someone else parks there. Similarly, knowing the rules about when a car can be towed can save you from unnecessary frustration and possibly even legal trouble. It's also worth noting that while the law is important, respect and consideration for your neighbors can go a long way in ensuring a peaceful coexistence. After all, nobody wants to live in a neighborhood where parking disputes are the norm. So, before you get upset about that car parked in your spot or consider leaving a fiery note on a windshield, remember these common misunderstandings. Understanding the law can help you avoid these common disputes. But it's not just about the law, it's also about being a good neighbor. Let's dive into the realm of residential parking etiquette, a vital part of harmonious neighborhood living. Firstly, let's tackle the topic of driveways. It seems simple enough, right? Don't block them. Yet it's astonishing how often this basic courtesy is overlooked. We've all had those frustrating moments when we've been late for an appointment or rushing to pick up the kids, only to find our driveway blocked by a thoughtless parker. It's not just an inconvenience, it's disrespectful. So let's make a pact, shall we? Let's agree to always give driveways the space they need. Moving on, let's discuss the issue of space utilization. Picture this: you've just come home from a long day and you're ready to park and relax. But lo and behold, a car has taken up 2 potential parking spots. It's not a pleasant sight, is it? To avoid being that person, always make sure you're parking in a way that maximizes space. If you can fit your car into one spot without crossing into another, then that's where your car should be. It's a simple consideration, but one that can make a world of difference. Lastly, let's touch on the golden rule of residential parking etiquette. Be considerate of others. This means not parking in front of someone else's house for extended periods without their permission, especially if you have ample parking at your own residence. It means being mindful of noise levels when you're arriving or leaving late at night or early in the morning. And it means understanding that the street is a shared resource, not your personal parking lot. In the grand scheme of things, these may seem like small gestures. But when everyone in a neighborhood adopts these practices, it creates an environment of respect and consideration. And isn't that the kind of neighborhood we all want to live in? Remember, being a good neighbor often means thinking beyond your own convenience. What happens if you violate the parking rules? This isn't a question to be taken lightly, especially not in Saudi Arabia, where the law enforcement agencies are strict about maintaining order on the roads. When you park your vehicle in front of someone else's residence without their consent, you're not just infringing upon their rights, but you're also breaking the law. And here's the deal. Saudi Arabia doesn't take violations of its traffic rules lightly. The first consequence you might face is a fine. Yes, you heard that right. The Saudi Traffic Department has the authority to impose fines on those who violate parking rules. The amount of the fine can vary depending on the severity of the violation and whether it's a repeat offense. And it doesn't stop there. If the violation is severe or repeated, the authorities have the power to impound your vehicle. Imagine the inconvenience not having your vehicle for a certain period, the cost of retrieving it, and the potential damage to your reputation. But that's not all. In some cases, you might even face legal action. Violating parking rules can be seen as a public nuisance. And if taken to court, you could end up with a criminal record. Moreover, repeated violations can lead to points being added to your driving record. Accumulate enough points and you could lose your driving privileges altogether. In the end, it's not just about a parking spot. It's about respect for others' rights, maintaining order, and ensuring that our roads and neighborhoods are safe and pleasant for everyone. And let's not forget, the penalties for violating parking rules aren't just financial or legal, there's also a social cost. Disregarding the rules can lead to friction with your neighbors, damaging relationships and community harmony. So while you might be tempted to park in that conveniently empty spot in front of someone else's house, remember the potential consequences. It's not just about courtesy, it's also about avoiding penalties. So what's the takeaway from all this? In the past few minutes, we've delved into the intricacies of parking laws and etiquette, particularly in Saudi Arabia, to address the question of whether parking in front of your own house could be considered a violation. We started by breaking down the law, which clarified that as long as you're not blocking the traffic or causing inconvenience to others, parking in front of your property is generally acceptable. We then addressed some common misconceptions that can often cause confusion and disputes among residents. We also highlighted the importance of residential parking etiquette. Remember, being a good neighbor is about more than just following the law. It's about showing respect for other spaces and being considerate of their needs. Next, we discussed the potential repercussions of breaking the law. While parking in front of your own house may not be a violation in itself, causing obstruction or inconvenience to others could lead to penalties. The consequences could range from fines to points on your license, or even having your vehicle towed. So the key takeaway is this: understanding the law is crucial, but so is practicing good parking etiquette. Parking in front of your own house is generally okay, but always be mindful of the potential impact on others. Remember, when it comes to parking in front of your own house, it's a balance of law, courtesy and common